Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. My name is Gord, and we have all our exploration contact tracks. So today we are going to get a Duna and Ike exploration ship prepared. And that's going to be quite the job. Although I have done some of the preliminary design because I had to figure a few things out, and I just could not figure out how to figure them out on camera. So I've designed the research core of the ship, and we're going to try and get that into orbit today. And next episode we will launch the fuel payload and the docking system. At least that's the hope. So there's just a couple little tweaks I still want to make here. So the upper one here, this is the Duna. Oh, I know what I'm missing. Oh no, take it back. Okay. So what you're looking at here, up at the top part, is the Duna lander. So it's a drug chute, four regular chutes, and a small thruster unit. Now what I was thinking I need to do is I need to double the fuel right there. I need a little more fuel because there's not going to be any chute assistance for that landing. This lower part is the Ike lander. Same deal, no parachutes, more fuel, but otherwise functionally identical. So there's our two landers. So the plan is to, so next we've got the solar array. Solar array consisting of 20, hold on, how many did I put on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I miscount? I did miscount. Look at that. I'm off by 1. We'll go over this in just a second. There we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, okay. So here's the thing. Each solar panel weighs 0.5. The surface imager weighs 6. So what I've done is I've put on these batteries, these 360 Pro batteries, because they happen to weigh 0.1. So one solar panel plus one of these is the same mass as the surface imager. And this allows me to put the surface imager on the solar array so that I can use it at both planets rather than just at a single at the moon of and nothing else. So the plan is, here's the mission design. You can see there's docking ports at the top and bottom here. What we're going to do is we're going to undock to get the Ike lander down. The mission profile is as follows. This whole rig here is going to get flown into orbit around Duna. More specifically, we're going to attempt to do get captured by Ike in a close enough orbit to do a surface imaging scan of Ike. While we're there, we're then going to take this beastie here. Actually, the extra fuel might not be necessary, because we're going to be in orbit already, and Ike is a tiny, tiny planet. You might be okay. You know what? We're going to... Oh, man, guys. I think I'm going to take the chance. Because that extra weight might make a big difference. So, so the plan is, we're going to get this rig into this whole mess here into orbit around Ike. And then we are going to undock here, slide this out using an RCS translation, join the upper and lower parts of the ship back together again, and fly off to Duna, and put the solar array and the Duna lander in orbit around Duna. Now the reason why we have to do it in that sort of weird way is because we need the parachute for Duna. Now, if we weren't going to use the drag chute, which we might be able to get away with, but it will certainly make the whole landing process a lot easier if I don't have to worry about, between the drag chute and the regular chutes, I should have plenty of, and the thruster for sort of the final sort of slowdown. And for maneuvering, I mean, this will let us actually, it's going to be tight. I mean, it's going to be tight. There's just no way around that. Okay, so this is the upper stage of the unit. And it's got no probe. The probe core has basically been defined. Let's see, there's the primary core. So for that, all we'll need is to attach on a decoupler and what will become the sort of docking stage, which will be sort of a... Alright, we'll get the Rockomax brand decoupler. So the core of it's going to be, it's a 46.75 ton ship. And this thing is basically going to get thrown into orbit and nothing else. We've got a 50 ton plus lifter right here. This subassembly right here, which I have revised. Even has, yeah, this one's had a few, this is the one that's had a few revisions. So the hope being that all we have to do is use this to get it into orbit and nothing more. And then the RCS, ooh, oh right, I almost forgot. We need, I know it's a bit more mass, but I think we can afford it. We don't want to use that on the lander, but we just need a stability assist right there. With the, so we're not going to land with this, but that should help us just, I mean, it's a small one, but we don't have the big reaction wheels yet, so it'll have to do. So that's the core of the design. You know, 6 times 4 is 24. 23 solar panels. By my calculations, I need a lot. I needed 9 minimum. So I've got way more solar panels than I absolutely need. In fact, I could probably justify taking away 1 of each, because we also have the 4 on top there, which will be oriented in the same direction as the actual core ship panel. These 4 on the bottom won't be doing anything, obviously, but they're not really there for that part of the trip. So yeah, so 5, so wait, yeah, 5, 3 5s, 15, 16, 17, so 19 solar panels plus the 4 on the top. So that should be more than enough solar panels for the bloody trip. 2 RCS tanks, and a hopefully recoverable landing unit. And because this has all the goodies on it, it can do all the command and control and power supply and whatnot. It can sit in orbit for as long as we need it to, as long as I orient it to face the sun. So that's the that's part 1. And I'm going to save it here, and I will certainly value your feedback, and we can always double back and do a redesign on this before committing to the actual flight. I wish I could fly the flight tonight, but I just don't have the bloody time. My life is so busy right now, it's kind of insane. Summer gets like that, and garden has gone completely insane, so I might got some canning I'm going to do later in the year, and if you guys are interested in slice of life stuff someday in the future, I might just show you a really cool pickle recipe that my mom taught me, because that could be fun. Homemade dills, 1 bottle at a time. Best way to do it. Anyways, onwards. So, part 2 of this is the, I think I called it the Interplanetary Booster Mark 1. And this is just about as simple as it can get, with a few minor tweaks still in the works. I think I have to do 1 minor tweak to this, though, which is what we're going to do right now. So it's got 3 new batteries, 3 spare batteries. I'll leave that there. So what we're going to do to make this whole ship just work a little better. So here we go. The payload itself weighs 47.6 tons, plus this. Which, more that I look at it, yeah, you know what? We're going to need to... Well, there's double RCS on the other one. And if I don't have to use that, that would be even better. So I'm trying to decide. See, I can't adjust fuel levels yet, so that's out of the question. Let's do it this way. We will throw a extra stage on here. So the question is, can 1 orange tank get us to get that 46-ton payload to Duna? Or is that going to be an inadequate quantity of fuel for maneuvering around Duna? In which case I would need a 3rd tank up into orbit, or some major redesign to this. Now, the one thing is, I do have the 1,000-ton lift, so I could design a even more hefty lifting system. I haven't yet, but I could do that. It would need to be something that works pretty well, though. Now, you know what? I think I'll just try and do most of the docking via RCS. It's going to require basically a near-perfect launch to rendezvous flight. But this thing's just about perfect. And if we're lucky, I mean, at a 46-ton lift, we might even have fuel left in this stage. I could add another batch of boosters to this. That could be done. I could do that, and that right there. Unfortunately, clipping with the wings, which we do not want. So if we just flick this over by one tick there, nope, there's just not enough room, is there? So assuming that can be fly stable, that would be just fine. But if with the wings so tightly packed, it might be more trouble than it's worth. Get rid of those, that could save us a bit of trouble. But the double boosters, the extra series of boosters, could make a big difference in the way this thing flies. Alright, there's that engine. I mean, that's a lot of extra thrust off the start here, but extra thrust at the start is never a bad thing. And that could potentially get us into orbit with these boosters still having enough juice in them to act as maneuvering thrusters. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. And I think we'll do the same thing. No, that shouldn't be necessary. We don't want to do that with the other ship because it's not going to have any engine left on it. Well, let's put the actual Duna ship chunk in orbit. After going into orbit and quick saving a pre-launch quick save, just in case something goes horribly wrong, or you guys tell me you're an idiot, this is not going to work, there's no chance in hell, because the math just doesn't play out. Because I remember managing to pull off a flight to Duna in the past with half that payload. And I can't remember how much juice I actually had left in the ship way back in the day. I guess, I mean, I could go look at my bloody... I could go look at the series and see. But there's so much that's changed since I've recorded Season 2 that I just don't think it's worth the trouble. We will find out the hard way. Alright, so we're going to go Alt F5, and this will be called Quickly Before Duna Launch. There we are. Launch, as opposed to launch, but alright, that's fine. Let's give this thing a try. We will take the Duna Explorer and we'll put it into orbit and we'll see how things feel when we get there. And of course we've got to put it oriented so that it is facing the sun, which is pretty easy. Ideally we can do that without using too much... Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot something really important on the design of both those ships. Oh, well, and it's decided to crash anyway, so there you go. Hello, welcome back. Here we are on the launch pad. The tweak I made was disabling these RCS tanks when the tweak I was going to make before the game crashed on me. Anyways, we are good to go, and we're going to see if we can get this thing into orbit, because that'll be the first battle. So here we go, launching in 3, 2, 1. Full throttle to the engines. Assuming nothing starts overheating, we'll be good to go. And solid fuel boosters are awesome. Pretty sure I got that right. Oh yeah, as I suspected. Just gonna do a tiny, tiny little twist to the right, just to give it the direction that it's going to be going. It's not enough to count as really a full gravity turn, I don't think, but just a little less. There we are. Okay, the engines are cooling a bit. So, this is exciting. This is a mission I'm really looking forward to doing. I think it's going to be a good one. It's still heating up, isn't it? That central thruster is feeling the heat a little. Alright. So 140 and rising. It's a nice ship. I think we're good and stable. We don't seem to have lost any balance in the process here, in spite of our slight tilt. We're not drifting further, which is good. Which I was worried might happen with that different design on one of the 4 vanes. Go away. Ooh. What did you guys knock off? Nothing of critical importance at this stage, it doesn't look like. Excellent. Okay. We're coming up to 8,000, and we will start seriously gravity turning in a minute. And if you listen very carefully, depending on how sensitive my microphone is, you might hear Kate talking to people upstairs. She's playing Guild Wars tonight with the Guild. I don't always game that with her. She does a lot of it. We've got a lot of friends and family playing that, so I just have a lot of other things that I do these days. Alright, there we go. Now, did we get high enough is the question. I have no bloody idea. Doesn't feel like we did, though. Does not feel quite like we got high enough. We're at 14. Maybe we did. Maybe we did. We should be just getting an apoapsis. There it is. Okay, no, we're right on schedule. Okay. Good stuff. Alright, we don't care about overheating now. RCS is now on. Let's just hope that this thing is stable enough to do the job. Alright, we're gonna tip just a little bit more. Not too much. Just a little. Whoops. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why is that engine in the middle? There we go. Okay, apparently that's just running a little too hot for its own good. Alright, a little more twist here. Apparently we were pushing the heat limit of that ship chunk a little there. Which, not a sound you like to hear as you're launching a very expensive piece of research equipment, that's for sure. Okay. We're just going to keep slowly gravity turning this thing as we come up into orbit. That will just help decrease the total amount of fuel we need to achieve our periaps here. Make it a little more efficient. Just going to keep chasing the prograde as it moves. I'm not sure if it's chasing or pushing, but it looks good. Bringing up that periaps nicely now. We're going to need a higher orbit on this. We're going to probably go for 80. That'll give us enough orbital maneuver room for the other piece of the ship that's going to come up in a little later, or in the next episode. Okay. 6. Okay. Full throttle because we've killed that central engine's fuel tank. Okay, we're officially coming into orbit now. Good. Keep on rotating. Our focus is the periapsis. And we'll kill the engines as soon as we hit 80-ish. There we are. How much fuel do we have left in here? Not a lot. Let's just hope we can rotate it. So we'll start burning when we are less than 30 seconds away from the periaps. And we're still technically in the atmosphere, so it's not entirely thrilled with that little time warp I did there. There's the end of the physics warp. Okay. Yeah, T-minus 30 seconds should do. We don't want to be raising our peri-apps at all if we can avoid it. Or our apo-apps, sorry. Full throttle. RCS on. There we go. Obviously not enough fuel to really push the... Yeah. We don't want to push this too tight if we can avoid it. We just need this thing to be in orbit, that's all. That's all we want at all, period, really. Okay. Oh, okay, we got to give it a tiny bit of time here to catch up with our apo-apps. And we just ran out of RCS, didn't we? Yes, we did. Okay. Tank 1, actually, do we have enough? No, that's not nearly powerful enough to do the job. Okay, just a little bit more fuel will do the job here. Alright, almost there. Good enough. 88, 81, not ideal, but we'll take it. Now, how much fuel is left? Enough to make a difference, so let's just keep this whole thing in orbit. Let's just have it rotate to face the sun. There we are. Just let it swing all the way around, and that's our Duna Explorer right there. We'll just wait for it to finish its swing. Got lots of RCS, not as much as I would have liked, but the hope is that I won't have to use any of this for the docking process. That this thing will just sit there deactive, and we'll just, the last thing we will do is use a tiny bit of RCS on this thing, like transfer in a few grams to get this fuel stack out of the way. And maybe we can use this thing to actually do the docking process with this engine. Might be able to help us with the gross bulk level docking staging. Now this thing is completely buggered on as far as staging is concerned. So we're going to have to be really careful about our event timing here. In fact, yeah, we don't even want those two to be in the same stage because bad things will happen if we're not careful. So we need to leave this thing oriented. Ooh, that was cool. Look at all the words. Words everywhere. So many different sources of power on this ship. It's kind of funny. So the whole business of leaving this thing facing the sun and then heading back to Space Center will make the difference as far as keeping it charged is concerned because of the quirk of that software. I confirmed that last session. And I mean, that's just, there's just no way around it. But at least it will assume that we've oriented things well enough to get sufficient sun for the ship to function. And I think that's a very, very important feature here. Okay. And with that complete, we will warp a little, and then we will put the SAS on because that will use, hopefully, this reaction wheel to control the stability of this ship in the meantime. And so, in the next episode, barring any really important revelations from you guys, which might result in a redesign of that launching, of that big center stack, do you think it's going to need 2 of those orange tank units to get into orbit? If it is, I might have to do it a little differently. Maybe do the half-sized gray tank. Let's just go back to the Space Center before I call it a day here. And let me just show you a couple of thoughts. I'm just going to throw some tanks around here. So if you guys think that that orange tank by itself is going to be inadequate for the job, there is something else we could do. And it will take a lot more work. It'll make this a much, much more complex process because it'll become a triple launch. All right, let's go to a new ship here, and I'll show you what I'm sort of thinking. So what we could do, just throw a probe core down. There we are. So an orange tank is 36. 36 even. So this is 18 even. So we could put one of those with, say, 4 of these radially around it. And it's a smaller unit. So that's 36 right there. That's exactly the same amount of fuel, but in a more compact package. Now the reasoning behind that is, we could send this up, it's a more compact unit, we could send it up with a smaller, well, pretty much everything. So we put on 4 LV909s here and a Poodle in the middle. Well, hold on. Poodle uses fuel at 7.4678. All right. Well, we could just do it with LV909s. We don't need a Poodle technically. Whoa, that just went weird. So we could do 5 LV909s like this, and then for the launch stage here, we make it a heavier stage, sort of the intermediate stage. We do this. We put on 1 RCS tank, maybe even maybe even a smaller for this one, and then we throw on a docking port on the top of that, of course. So if we needed to get more fuel up, like if you guys think that one of these orange tanks will not be adequate, this is what we could do. We would need a Rockomax decoupler, like so, and a decoupler node there, or docking node. So this is the node that will take the next section of the ship, and this is the piece of the ship that will be used for the bulk maneuvering, let's say. So disable that, and we put on one of these for maneuvering, and then say this and this, and this becomes our little maneuvering unit to get the thing into actual orbit. So I could put any number of these little things dock them one by one with the ship, and we could have a ship of any size we really desire using this technique. As I say, not perfect. A single orange tank would be much easier, but this would give us a much more. The reason I would do this over sending up, say, 2 orange tanks is that this design here is much more physically stable. So you try and dock 2 orange tanks together, and you're going to have something that's going to have a habit of flopping a little. I mean, as it is with the LV909 here. It's not going to be perfect, but we can fix that with just a little bit of judicious strut work like that. So this will be called the Oops, what happened? Undo that. Get back on there. Now, yeah, I'll need batteries. I would need batteries as well, right? So, but they wouldn't necessarily be batteries that I want to take with me. And maybe that's really important to consider, is that if I don't want to take the batteries with me, I could get away with not doing that. But we could do docking utility, get, say, 1, 2 batteries, docking ports. Now, I won't even need 2 batteries. I mean, 1 battery is enough. Yeah, no, we'll just need 1. We would just need 1, and we'll probably only need 1 on the on this stage as well. So let's not get too greedy. It makes me wish I had the super flat probe core. Or do I? Do I have that probe core? No, that's the fuel tank. That's a fuel tank. Super flat probe core would be nice, though. So this is an alternative option for the whole getting fuel into orbit process. Let's just knock that around 1 further. There we are. There, that's the way it's supposed to look. Excellent. So then we would dock these, ditch this lower chunk here down to the docking port, and then we would dock a second unit like this on the back. And it's going to be called alternate interplanetary planetary booster design B. Okay, so let me know what you guys think, because I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if these designs are adequate or not, if either of them are. I mean, this one is expandable. I could put as many of those on as I want. Maybe that's what I need. So just keep in mind, mission profile. get into orbit around Ike, surface scan, detach a probe core, relocate the core of the ship to Duna itself, drop the Ike probe down, surface scan of Duna, drop the probe core, drop the lander down to Duna itself. It's a pretty complex mission, and if we can pull it off, I'll be pretty thrilled. But that's going to be, next steps are going to be in the next episode. I look forward to hearing your feedback. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.